Hi, welcome to the Unstuck Club. This is episode 1 of an adventure that is going to unfold as it should. I am Jodene Shaer. I am self-awareness coach. I have a beautiful company with my business partner. It's called Lifeology. And we're completely focused on helping people get unstuck. That's what it's all about. You know, that elevator pitch that people talk about and they say, in 30 seconds, what are you going to say? And I have written and rewritten it so many times. But at the end of the day, my question is, what gets you stuck? And what gets you unstuck is the way that you understand yourself and take your authenticity back. I have not done my life on my own. I have always shared it with other people. That saying, no man is an island, I absolutely swear and I live by. And because of that, I want to introduce you to my very special friend, Di. And we are going to have so many beautiful moments of podcasting the Unstuck Club together. And today is going to be about you getting to know us. So hi, Di.
Hi, Joe. I can't believe this is finally happening. I mean, we've spoken about it for so long, and the thought of just sitting down here and actually just doing this without any specific format or idea, I think is just, I'm so excited. I woke up this morning excited, and this time couldn't come quickly enough. So I'm Di Atherton, and my company is The Spiral Path, and I'm a transformational catalyst and a Reiki master and energy healer. I'm also a grief guide and certified death doula, and I help people negotiate change, whether it's after loss or just new chapters in their lives. And Jodene and I think this work, our collaboration really developed in July last year. We just realized how beautifully Jo's work with a person through her numerology and her personality profile, and then myself doing the distance Reiki work to help the body through the changes that need to be made. We just realized that there was something really powerful here. And in the webinars that we were doing, we identified something that happens when the two of us get together as we are now. And seeing people stuck and struggling. And, it is the new year, and we sort of go into this new year, new year, new me, and, a long list of goals and intentions, and I need to be better, and I need to be this. And it's, by the end of January, you've basically it's same old, you've run out of steam. And the thing is, there's a lot more and Jo and I have realized there's so much more going on in these bodies of ours than just sitting down, doing a vision board, setting intentions. And I started, and I think this book popped up for me recently. I've had it for ages, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And there was a passage I read this morning, and it perfectly describes the kind of underlying foundation of the Unstuck Club and how Jo and I see ourselves being of service to you, the listener. And it says, trying to become a good or better human being sounds like a commendable and high-minded thing to do. Yet it is an endeavor you cannot ultimately succeed in unless there is a shift in consciousness. This is because it is still part of the same dysfunction, a more subtle and rarefied form of self-enhancement, of desire for more, and a strengthening of one's conceptual identity, one's self-image. You do not become good by trying to be good, but by finding the goodness that is already within you and allowing that goodness to emerge. But it can only emerge if something fundamental changes in your state of consciousness. And I think that's what the Unstuck Club is all about, is helping people with that shift in consciousness.
And I think that it's so important to lead in now and talk about some of the places where you and I have gotten ourselves unstuck, because we aren't here, saying, you do the work, we know the formula, but we haven't created this formula because of how we have gotten ourselves unstuck along the way. I know that it's very frustrating in some of the places where I've been stuck. And I'm going to use fitness as an example. I don't like going to do gym classes or following too much of a gym class unless it's with someone who absolutely understands what it's like to take a body that doesn't really feel comfortable moving. Mine comes from the huge amount of weight that I used to carry. And there's an incredible trainer that I love following on the social networks. And the reason why I love following this person is because he focuses on what it means to be a big human being, or someone who has been sedentary for so many years and not exercised, and then slowly get you going. And I really struggle with someone who says, okay, this is a beginner class, and then it's 25 reps, and you can't even do 5, and it's flipping exhausting. And I think it's such an important place for us, Di, for you and I to talk about how we've gotten ourselves unstuck, so that we aren't sitting here and saying, easy peasy for you to do, but actually I've really worked so hard at getting myself unstuck. And I think a really big part of what's going to happen through however long this journey carries on is to admit the places where we still are stuck, because there's lots of places where we're still stuck, and how the formulas that we have individually and collectively help to get ourselves unstuck, right?
Yeah, and I think that's really important to start off with, right from the get-go, is we don't have it all figured out. Just in the last 6 months, the conversations you and I have had, like when we wobble, it's like, I'm not good enough to do this. There's so many people out there doing what I do way better than me. And, those fears, those insecurities that come up, and trying to, and looking at health, because I think that is a big thing, especially at the beginning of the year. I'm going to go to gym, and I'm going to eat right, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take care, and I'm going to have more sleep, and I'm going to read more, and I'm going to meditate, and, blah, blah, blah. And I was listening to Stephen Bartlett's podcast today, and I can't remember the name of the lady he has on, but she was saying that when you want to change a habit, don't do more than 2 at a time. The brain can't handle changing more than 2 things at a time. So you might have weight and sleep and eating and exercise, but she says, in fact, just pick one and work with that, and work with that for 8 weeks. So here's the practical stuff. I know, Joe, a lot of people think Joe and I are really woo-woo, but we look for the scientific basis for a lot of the information that we share, and it's out there.
Yeah.
And she said, pick maximum 2 habits. And she said, and I've always said this, it's the small incremental changes. So, for example, my lovely friend here is a vegan, full-on vegan. I've dabbled in it. I'm still leaning towards my eggs and my cheese. I don't eat a lot of red meat anymore, but I made one small change from the 1st of January, and I've stopped eating butter. One thing, I've put the butter in the fridge. When I have a sandwich, it may have cheese on it, or it may have egg on it. It does not have butter. So it's one change. And then in a few weeks' time, I'll bring in something else. And it's those small changes, one thing that is not overwhelming, because the moment it becomes overwhelming, it's like, oh no, I can't do this. and then you fall off the wagon, and then you beat yourself up because you've failed.
Yeah. And also the reason why people do things. So when I talk about why I became vegan, so many people are vegan because of the cruelty towards animals, which I absolutely, I get it, and I feel like a much better human being because I don't. But mine is all about my health. Mine is about the 47 kilos that I've lost, and a lot of people contact me. I've always shared pictures. I've been very social online. You can go back and you can see really overweight pictures of me. I haven't taken them down. I haven't hidden who I am. Um, and there's a big question. A lot of people ask me, how long did it take me to lose the weight? And it's taken me 7 years, and I'm not even done. And people, I watch a lot of the content on social media die exactly for the reason that you're talking about, because I want to pick up the best tips that I possibly can along the way. And a lot of it is, I did this in a year, or I did this in 8 months, or I did this quickly. And people kind of go, why did it take you 7 years? And why are you still not done? Because the perception out there is what should be done so much quicker. The reason why is because of the number of times that I got stuck and had to catch myself at some point to not go all the way back in order to have to start again. There've been times when you've really seen times when I have been so stuck. Like, why can't I figure this out? Why is this not shifting? Why, no matter what I'm doing, is it just not working? And I'm thrilled that it's taken 7 years, and I'm actually kind of thrilled that it's still not done, because as I get stuck, I learn something new and I shift something about myself, like absolutely permanently. And the more everyone spends time with me, you're gonna hear me say, I can't stand what I call the positivity movement, of this, just get to a place of positivity as soon as possible and don't repeat a pattern. If you repeat a pattern, then you haven't gotten it right, which is absolutely not true. You don't know what it means to get unstuck if you don't consistently get yourself stuck. So we kind of like celebrate getting stuck, right? And then getting unstuck a little bit more. That's why we're doing this. I think we want to soften the stuckness, right? We don't want to make it like it's this huge big thing that you got to overcome and punish yourself every time you repeat a pattern, and every time you think you've got it, and you aren't brave enough to maybe do the thing that you said you were going to do, or you can't stick to the plan that you put out for yourself. Like, we've got to soften. We've got to be kinder on ourselves as we do this process.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful analogy of like getting unstuck gently. So if you think, I don't know if you've ever had it, if you have a whole lot of your necklaces and they're in the jewelry box and you pull out the chains and they're all intertwined, there's no ways you can just pull them apart. You literally have to sit and find out which bit, belongs to which, and gradually unravel it. And I think this is where the external world does so much damage, because it is like 8 weeks. You can listen, we would all love it if in 8 weeks I could drop the 5 kilos that I want to lose, but there's a really good chance that 8 weeks after that it will be back, because it's not a lifestyle change. And becoming unstuck is that very thing that Eckhart Tolle talks about, with a shift in consciousness. And you will feel it when it's an aha moment. You feel like something just changes inside. I had this on Monday with Jodene. We went through my numerology reading, and as these episodes unfold, you'll learn a little bit more about the work that we both do. But we did my numerology reading, and I had this sudden aha moment. Now, I'm not an exercise person at all. I go to Pilates, which I've done for a long time. Part of it is because of a knee injury. I really like the way it makes me feel. While my trainer was away over December, she was gone for an entire month. I did very little. I could do it at home, but I didn't. And I went back on Monday, and just felt so good. It was so good to be back in the studio and to move. And then in the afternoon, I had my session with Joe, and I had this sudden aha that my self-worth, and it's my self-worth, drops when I don't exercise. And I was like, wow. I'd gone from 3 times a week. One is a HIIT class because I'm reaching my senior years and I want to go into them as fit and as healthy as I can be. And then I suddenly stopped everything, and it affected my emotional well-being. I could feel myself becoming more and more slothful, more lazy, less inclined to do anything. Since the aha with Joe on Monday, it's like I now have done exercise at home on the days that I don't go and train. I've suddenly become way more conscious of what I put in my mouth. And my work focus has become a lot sharper, I think, because I'm moving and I'm eating better. I'm not following a diet. Nobody made me, I didn't read a book or go, oh, I need to try that. And by the way, the word try, like, don't even say try. You either do, as Yoda says, do or don't do. There is no try. But something shifted in me internally when I realized that my self-worth drops when I don't move. And that was purely through a conversation with Joe remotely. But something happened inside. I can't explain it. I just know that when I woke up on Tuesday morning, I felt very different. That is the beginning of coming unstuck from something that has dogged me most of my adult life.
And that comes from the shift in, I want to explain the difference between being the purpose and searching for life purpose, and being purposeful, which is such an important thing. We kind of get told that you have to find your life purpose, and then everyone spends their lives searching for their life purpose, right? And in that searching for your life purpose, you miss out that every moment of your life should in some way feel purposeful, right? But then what happens is we're also driven to focus on purposeful, then making an impact and a difference on everybody else's lives. But what happens when you have a moment and you can feel what it means to be purposeful, and you are the one who benefits from that? For me, that is when it becomes so life-changing and it shifts so incredibly. And Di, when we talk about that try, like there is no try, it's very important to also say try and try and try. So you can try and fail, or the perception of fail, or try and it doesn't kick off, and try and it doesn't kick off again, and keep on doing that until it sparks. It's like, when you're trying to just catch something that sparks. I mean, that's why it took me so long. That's why it took the 7 years, because I would try and I would give my best effort, and when it all went pear-shaped in whatever way that it did, what happens is exactly what you're saying. The trying stops, right? And it's keep going in whatever way, shape, and form gives you the opportunity to learn something more about yourself. Like, just live in trial and error. As we spend more time together, we're going to introduce you to people in our lives and all that kind of stuff. And I have an incredible bestie business partner. We're a mix of both. And we beautifully use the word fumble. We talk about fumble. Like, we literally talk about fumbling through life. Like, we're bouncing our way through, we're crashing into walls, we're tripping over things, we fall down, but the thing is we get up. We fall down, we get up. We fall down, we get up. And it's kind of become and I believe, because you and I aren't going to hold back in this, right, Di? So I believe that a lot of the rah-rah motivational people who so many people are following to get support and guidance never show how long it took to get up, or never show that vulnerability. So it looks like they never have to pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and start all over again, which is highly concerning for me. It's very concerning that there is an impression out there that there's just this go 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 mentality, and you need to have it. You don't need to have it. You actually need to know that trying and it doesn't fall into place is absolutely fine, and that you are entitled to feeling exhausted, and you don't always have to be like have all the ducks in a row. You aren't failing and you aren't not succeeding if all the ducks aren't in a row. Actually, you're doing just fine. You're doing absolutely just fine. And that's why people stop, because they try, you try, and you don't get the results that is the perceived results of what you should have by whatever benchmark has been put out there. A lot of what we're going to be talking about is encouraging you and helping you to understand that it is for you to create your own benchmark. It is for you to create your own formula. It is for you. The most annoying thing on the planet for me is those articles that are the 7 steps to this makes a successful person, and the best millionaires in the world do these 5 things. I just want to lose my and why I get so frustrated is because everything that I do is personality profiling the whole time. So I'm always getting everyone to understand, who are you authentically? What is the blueprint of how you were born to be? And there are certain people who literally, the slower and easier paced that you are, the more life will come to you. So you are not the 5 a.m. person. You are not the get up and make your bed person before you do anything else. There are some people who create their lives better by lying around and actually not doing that much until there's this surge of inspiration, and then you just never give yourself the permission to have that surge of inspiration, because you're up at 5 a.m. making your bed, but you're exhausted because it's not even suiting your personality. Right?
Yeah. I remember going to listen to a very well-known speaker who came out, and he advocates the whole 5 a.m. thing. And I remember him saying, you should wake up at 5 a.m. and then it's 15 minutes of exercise, and then it's 15 minutes of reading something inspirational, 15 minutes of journaling, 15 minutes of, I can't remember what the other one was, and then a meditation, and then you need to have a full body massage every week. And I remember thinking, like, yeah, you've clearly never been a single mother raising, little children. It was just so far removed from everyone's reality, when here is a speaker charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for, and has an entire team that manages his life. It's not realistic. And I think the word try, this is for me, the word try can often already bring in the, I'll try, but I'm not convinced this is going to work. Whereas if you say, I'm doing this and I'm doing it this way, and if it doesn't work, I'll try something else. I think the words that you like, so when I go to Pilates with my knee injury, like Des will say, let's try this exercise. And I say, I have a go, and I go, no, I can't do it yet. I always add the yet. I can't do it yet. And I think if you go, I'm doing it this way. But for a lot of people that would try, it just holds that, well, it might not work. So, but I'll try kind of thing. So I think the words that we use. So I think, for the beginning of the year, like really look. And I think in the last 24 hours, 5 or 6 different people have said to me, do you know that all I did over December was sleep? I was going to spring clean. I was going to revamp my wardrobe. I was going to move furniture around. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. I was so tired that I just slept. And they commented that even their children, their school kids, were sleeping late, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. We were seriously depleted at the end of 2023. And we need to be mindful of that and not catapult into the new year. I only this week did I start clearing out my box files from 2023 paperwork. I couldn't be bothered before now. This week, it's already the middle of the month. So I think to be really mindful, and that's what getting unstuck is. I think one of the foundations is, how are you really feeling right now?
Yeah. And why is it important for you to try this, and why is it important for you to get unstuck in this, is for me the foundational question. Like, if anyone spends time with me, and I make it so clear in my coaching, like, I don't do anything. If you want to bring something to life, whether it be your business or lose the weight or any of those things, then we need to find a third party, a different person who can help you strategize and create all of those things. Because what I'm focusing on is, why do you want to do it? Does it suit your nature and your personality to do this? And do you understand why you are trying? Do you understand why you're trying it? One of the, I'm a nomad, and I'll talk a lot more about that as we go along. But I've decided this year to really and truly stick with my nephew, who's in the final year of school, and it's been taking him so long to write an essay. I've literally been going nuts. And yesterday I said to him, it was so simple. I don't know why I hadn't thought about it ages ago. I said to him, what's gotten you stuck? What's gotten you stuck? And as I said that, he said, I don't know how to do this, this, and this. And we just sat down and we got this kid unstuck in like 15 minutes, something that took the entire December holiday, just because I was saying, sit down, write it, sit down, write it. And I didn't ask that simple question. It just changed everything. Like, so many people don't even know what they're trying for. And so many people don't know why they're feeling stuck, because it's actually it's just the basis of that. It's as simple as that. Like, what has made you feel stuck, and why is there an undercurrent of a fear that you won't be able to get yourself unstuck?
So here's the question then, Jo. So do you think that people avoid asking that question because they don't actually want to face the answer? Like, I'm stuck because my marriage is dead. I'm stuck because I'm following a course of study that my parents wanted me to do and I absolutely hate it. Yeah. I wanted to go and travel around the world for a year. So often we won't look. We don't want to face that question. We don't even want to sit and think about it. And I think as time goes on, we'll really get to see how damaging that is to the body, first of all, because you are now suppressing all these emotions and not willing to face them. The problem is they don't go away. Yep. And when you look at the mental health challenges and the chronic diseases that are rampant on this planet at the moment, it really tells you how many people are stuck and either don't know that they're stuck or are just not willing to admit it.
Yeah. And I think that this is a good way to have enticed everyone enough to carry on listening with
Yeah.
this answer that I'm going to give. It is only safer for someone to stay stuck if you do not know the parts of yourself, what parts of yourself you can rely on and trust in order to get yourself unstuck, in order to manage whatever change is ahead of you, whether you realize it or whether you don't. If you do not understand who you are, the authenticity of who you are, the traits that you can naturally rely on, the blueprint of who you are, like, what is it within me that no matter what happens, I will get myself unstuck and I will be okay? The only reason why people don't brave it is because you just don't know yourself well enough yet. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah. And hopefully, yeah, over the forthcoming episodes, we can help you getting to a place, maybe not unstuck now, but getting braver. I think, yes, this podcast is about helping you become braver, and really, because you deserve to live your best life. And that best life is really doesn't have to be like going out and saving the world. And I think this is, Joe, you spoke about life purpose. People go like, oh, I need to know my life purpose. Your life purpose might be being the best street sweeper ever. If it brings you peace, if you're happy to be of service, if it creates community, if it creates cleanliness, and that brings you joy, that's your purpose. Being the best mother, the best parent, whatever it is. So yeah, we're really looking forward to unpacking so much with you. We have guests. We don't know how this is going to unfold. This is completely new territory for us. So yeah.
And I think that Di, you and I would just both love for anyone who wants us to talk about something that's unstuck, like also guide us. We're here for you, in any way that you can reach out to us, and where you find us, you'll see there's different ways that we're gonna drop it. There will always be breadcrumbs back to us. And to share it along to anybody who needs it. Like, we are here for you every single step of the way. So as you need us, ask us, and that is how we will create, and that's what the Unstuck Club will become.
Perfect.
Yeah. Good.
And, yeah, we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.